have had time to ponder and to think. We've got to be more concerned about the country, the Senate, the state of Nevada, than us. And as a result of that, I'm not going to run for re-election.
With Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth back with you on America's Forum. Of course, that was Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid announcing he will retire from the Senate at the end of his current term.
Yeah, the Democrat from Nevada will retire after 5 terms and claims the reason has nothing to do with his recent exercising injury that has left permanent damage to his right eye.
Instead, as you heard him, he claims that he just wants to do what's best for the country and the Democratic Party, as well as the state of Nevada. So the question becomes, in terms of Democrat leadership, who follows and why and what happens in Nevada? To talk about those questions, let's turn to Newsmax contributor and columnist for National Review Online, our friend John Fund, who joins us from Newsmax, New York. First, Reid's retirement. We got the, and forgive me, I don't mean to be cynical, but we got the slice of it's for the country and the Democratic Party and Nevada. Do you agree with his rather rosy assessment of why he's leaving?
Look, I'm not going to read motives into what Harry Reid did. I'll simply say, though, that the polls showed he would have had a very tough re-election race. He's run 5 times in Nevada. Only one of those 5 times has he won more than 51% of the vote. So it would have been very competitive. By leaving, he avoids having his fellow Democrats in the Senate gently push him out. So he's already endorsed Chuck Schumer to succeed him. And he also avoids possible ending of his career on a down note, somebody who was rejected by the people he claimed to represent for so long.
So, John, now we have to ask you, who's next in line?
Chuck Schumer of New York has been blessed by Harry Reid. Doesn't mean he automatically gets it, but he's clearly the front runner. Chuck Schumer has been Harry Reid's deputy for many years, and a lot of people were thinking that Harry Reid couldn't have stayed another 2 years as Democratic Minority Leader even if he had won re-election, because he would have been in his late 70s, and let's face it, he doesn't do well on TV, and he also says the darndest things. So I think that Harry Reid was reading, shall we say, the political handwriting on the wall and acting accordingly.
Well, as it may not surprise you, John, to hear that a whole lot of folks have some input about what may happen next. For example, Joe Scarborough, my own colleague and the host of MSNBC's Morning Joe, was on Meet the Press on NBC with Chuck Todd over the weekend. Here's what Joe had to say.
That's a big trade-up, not only for the Democratic Party, but for America, and I'm dead serious. Chuck Schumer is one of these interesting people that actually is not only going to be better for his party, because he's going to fight tougher, he's going to be able to take the message to Americans more. He's going to be better for the country because, like Tip O'Neill, the one thing he hates more than Republicans' philosophy is gridlock and getting nothing done. I think we're all better off now.
So what about that? Does Schumer really want to end gridlock?
Probably not. But on the other hand, no one could have been worse than Harry Reid. Harry Reid literally shut down the Senate. They didn't pass a budget for 6 years. Basically, the Senate became a joke. It wasn't in particularly good reputation before that either. So Chuck Schumer almost has to be an improvement. And Chuck Schumer has in the past shown an occasional willingness to reach across the aisle and make some kind of agreements with Republicans. And in terms of the comedy of the Senate and the ability of members to get along, I wouldn't call it a big trade-up, but I mean, we're dealing with ground zero right now.
Do you think there's anybody else who would throw his or her hat in the ring?
Well, the liberals in the Senate would love Elizabeth Warren to become the first Democratic leader, female Democratic leader. They're encouraging her. On the other hand, Chuck Schumer has sewn up an awful lot of support already. And I think Elizabeth Warren is enjoying her role as sort of being the conscience, the La Pasionaria of the Democratic Party. And I think that she'll probably step back from that. But that's who the liberals in the Senate, the real liberals, want. Chuck Schumer has a lot of ties to Wall Street, which they don't like.
Well, they may not like it, but a lot of Democrats enjoy getting their campaign coffers filled courtesy of Wall Street. Chuck Schumer can raise them a whole lot of money. Now, obviously, the Democrats want to get control of the Senate again a couple of years out. And our parent website, Newsmax.com, had an article headline, 8 Ways Chuck Schumer Would Try to Advance a Liberal Agenda. Do you think Chuck will advance a more liberal agenda? And is that a way for the Democrats to retake the Senate in 2016?
Well, Chuck Schumer has written a book about how the Democrats lose elections when they lose touch with middle-class concerns. And earlier this year, he made a bunch of headlines by saying, you know, passing Obamacare was a mistake. Most Americans in the middle class were happy with their health insurance situation. So Democrats were chasing 10-15% of the population who wanted health insurance, and they were ignoring the rest of the population that were more concerned with getting a job and keeping their job. So I think Chuck Schumer is more pragmatic in that sense. Harry Reid cut a lot of deals with the Obama administration, carrying their water because they promised that they wouldn't put a nuclear waste depository in Nevada, carrying their water and a whole bunch of other issues because the Obama administration steered alternative energy money and other subsidies to Nevada. Chuck Schumer wants all those goodies for New York too, but I think he has a little broader vision of what it takes to win votes nationally.
Now for the question that JD really wants to know the answer to. What are the chances that the GOP can win it? You're staying right here, by the way.
Oh yeah, look, I'm not in Nevada.
No,
don't. But yeah, who in the Republican field in Nevada can pick up this seat upon Reid's retirement?
Oh, there'll be a lot of competition. Should the Republicans be able to convince the sitting governor, Brian Sandoval, to run, he'd probably be the front runner. Congressman Joe Heck of Las Vegas would be a strong contender. Former Lieutenant Governor Brian Krolucky would be a good one. There's also Bob Beers, who's a Las Vegas city councilman. He's the Tea Party candidate. I would say almost anyone in that field would be competitive. But the Democrats have a very strong candidate too. Harry Reid has blessed a former Attorney General, Catherine Cortez Masto, and she has the advantage of being Hispanic along with 1/3 of the Nevada's population. So it'll be a very competitive race. Anyone could win it.
All right, John Fund, our Newsmax contributor, thanks for checking in from New York. And now it's time for a Newsmax National Weather Update with Jessica Reyes.
This Newsmax TV weather update is brought to you by eVoice. Simple, affordable, and a lot better. Hello and happy Monday. We'll start off by the Pacific coastline. Kicking things off for your week with daytime highs in the lower 60s for the most part. A lot hotter the further south you go. Yesterday in Las Vegas, daytime highs reached the mid-90s at 94 degrees, so feeling very summer-like through there. Not so much by the Great Lakes area, but a lot milder for today with mainly sunny skies in Bismarck. And speaking of showers and thunderstorms, this is very typical throughout this time of year by the Gulf of Mexico. We are dealing with that. A lot of that is extending into parts of the southeast, eastern portion of the country, especially by the Atlantic coastline. And then most of it is moving across the northeastern portion of the country for your Monday, where the further inland you go, we're getting mixed showers. So a little bit of rain and snow through there. Now for your Monday, here are some of your daytime highs.
Thanks for that weather update, Jessica. It was interesting to hear our friend John Fund talk about that Senate seat in Nevada because were I going to forecast, I thought the skies would be sunny for Republicans. It would be a pickup. But then he said, no, Harry's already, well, you heard him say, Harry's endorsing a former female attorney general in that state. It will bear watching, to say the least.
It'll be interesting to see how everything unfolds.
And we hope you'll stay here to watch some more because a lot of topics concerning our political panel up next.